Wednesday show. Wednesday show. Wednesday show. I don't know if you can hear me or if you're even there. I don't know if you would listen to a gypsy's prayer. Yes, I am just an outcast. I shouldn't speak to you. Still, I see your face and wonder. Wouldn't you want to talk about Wednesday? To do this here. We got a poll going up right now for you guys. So that way you guys can answer that while we're going through here and getting this stuff. Hola, hello, Eric. For those of you guys who are in the chat room right now, which I think it might just be Eric right now, which kind of defeats the entire purpose. But if you can hear me right now and you're in the chat room, it is Eric's birthday today. So everyone wish Eric a happy birthday today. It's also the reason why we're doing the show that we're doing tonight. We're doing all about Pirates of the Caribbean because that's Eric's favorite distraction. Plus, we're going to be talking about the Beak and Barrel because I've had the opportunity to go 2 times in the last week, and we have lots to talk about with it. There's a lot of so many details. I just don't know how I'm going to cover it all. I just sometimes I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's all amazing, and then other times I'm like, it's all amazing, but at the same time, I don't know how I'm going to write it all down at some point. But yeah, if you are in the chat room right now, please give a massive happy birthday to Eric in the chat room as well. He is the ripe age of 29 years old today. Yay! And I only say that because it's not true. And that way, when Eric starts telling me on my birthday, 6 months from now, exactly to the day, then he can not make fun of me for how old I am, even though I am actually younger than him by 4 years. So keep that in mind next time, Eric, you are going through and making fun of me. All right, so let's get this party started. Tonight we're going to be talking about Pirates of the Caribbean and Beak and Barrel over at the Magic Kingdom, the brand new bar slash restaurant. I don't even know if you want to call it a restaurant. There's like 3 food options there. 4. We'll talk about it. I should have taken more pictures of the menu, but we have a lot to talk about. So let's get through this thing, or not let's get through this thing, let's get to this thing. And we're going to start what episode is this? The 840th episode of the Wednesday show in 5, 4, 3, 2. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 840th episode of the Wednesday show. Today is September 24th, 2025, and I'm your host, as always, Brent Dodge. Hello. Today we're going to be going through and talking all about Pirates of the Caribbean, and we're also going to be talking about the brand new bar over at the Magic Kingdom, the Beak and Barrel. But of course, before we get to that, let's talk about our news for the week. First off, thank you everyone out there who's been joining us for our Saturday in the Park. If you didn't already know, every single Saturday we do a live broadcast from someplace found throughout the Walt Disney World Resort. You never know where we're going to be coming to you from, but I promise you we will always be coming to you live from Disney. So make sure you join us every single Saturday at 1 o'clock Eastern Time for a little bit of in-park Disney fun. It's right here on this YouTube channel. So if you're not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe as well. Actually, speaking of subscribing, let's take a look at our current subscriber count and see to go. We are currently at 8,891 subscribers. As always, if we continue to go up in subscribers as tonight's episode goes on, we will go into extra innings and talk about more and more with either just Pirates of the Caribbean stuff, or we can also talk a little bit about Beak and Barrel or other Disney things as well. So make sure you join us for that as well. Also, speaking of Beak and Barrel, well, you know what? Let's wait. So towards the end of the episode, we will talk about something special at Beak and Barrel that will be happening for you guys with broadcasting sometime in the very near future. So stay tuned through tonight's episode, and you may be having your mind at the end of the episode. Also in the news today was the final day of Star Wars Launch Bay / the Disney Junior Dance and Play. They are both going under for those long refurbishments to eventually become part of the massive reimagined animation courtyard, where we will be getting a brand new animation building along with a brand new Alice in Wonderland playground and a few other things as well. So I went over to Disney's Hollywood Studios today to say my goodbyes, pay my respects, and it was okay. It was one of those where I have had a very rough year with attractions that I truly, truly love closing down, starting right off at the in January when we had Triceratops Spin and Chester and Hester's Dinorama closing up. And that was followed by things like Tom Sawyer Island, The Rivers of America, Muppet Vision 3D. It's been a rough year, people. So it was still sad to say goodbye to something, but at the same time, I was glad I was not as emotionally attached as I've been to other things. But I did go over there and experience it one last time. And there were a few people who were walking around crying, and I don't blame them because we all get connections to different things. So I do not blame them whatsoever. Do we know if it's going to be like the DCA's animation building? I don't. I as much as I would love for it to be like that, I don't think it's going to be like the DCA animation building. If they can make it like the DCA animation building, I will be going to studios so much more often than I already do. And I already go to studios at least once or twice a week, if not 3 times. So that'd be really cool. That would be really cool. As of right now, we don't know all the details, but as the details come in, we will share the details with you as well. And yes, R is the letter that comes up before S in the alphabet. I'm just seeing people right into the comments there. Okay. So as always, tonight's episode is sponsored by our wonderful, our super duper, our always amazing Patreon pals. If you're one of our Patreon pals out there in the chat room, give us an oh yeah. If you are one of the Patreon pals, make sure you stop by the patreon.com/Brent Dodge page, because I did post a exclusive thing for you guys this week as well. So make sure you go check that out if you have not checked that out yet. So, okay, so tonight we're going to be talking about Pirates of the Caribbean / Beak and Barrel. We're going to be going through first talking about Pirates of the Caribbean. Then we're going to be talking about Beak and Barrel. We're going to be going through details. We've got pictures that we're going to be sharing for you guys here on this page, right on the screen, so you won't have to look at my face. Instead, you can look at the beautiful pictures all around the Beak and Barrel. But let's first start off with a little bit of history of Pirates of the Caribbean. As we go through here, if you guys have any questions about anything and everything that we're talking about, make sure you throw those questions into the comments, and we will go through and answer any and all questions that are being thrown into the comment. Also, right now, you have 6 of you guys have voted for what is the best Pirates of the Caribbean ride. We have 67% of you guys have said Disneyland. Magic Kingdom's got 17%. Shanghai's got 17%. I've never been on the Shanghai one, but the Shanghai one looks unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. And I would love to be able to go on it. Let's go all the way back to the 1960s. So way back in the 1960s, Disney was going through and figuring out brand new ways to change the park. Now, first off, there's this thing that anytime things get changed in a Disney park, people go, that's not what Walt would have wanted to do. But in reality, Walt Disney created and tore down so many lands in his lifetime. It's kind of crazy. Like Mickey Circus Land doesn't exist anymore. It existed for a very short period of time. So when he was going through and creating and tearing down different things, one of the things that he tore down part of was a little land called Frontierland. Not all of Frontierland, but part of Frontierland was taken down for a brand new thing called New Orleans Square. Now, with the idea of New Orleans Square, we're going to have it so there was going to be 2 signature attractions. 2 signature attractions that unfortunately Walt Disney never actually had a chance to experience himself, but they were both being worked on when he was alive. Our first one was the one and only Haunted Mansion. Now, Haunted Mansion, of course, we all know as, Grim Grinny Ghost, come out to socialize. It is a fan favorite. Everyone loves the Haunted Mansion, and it's just a classic attraction. The other thing that he was going through was this idea of a wax museum. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about the wax museum because it's part of our history, and then we're going to slowly go through the history on how it became Pirates of the Caribbean. But back in the early 1960s, they wanted to have it so in this brand new land they were developing, there was going to be a wax museum where you could go through and you could take a look and maybe even touch. I don't know if you could touch it, but it's kind of funny if you could just go up and poke these pirates' faces. But they're going to make a wax museum where you can go through and you could experience what pirate life was going to be like in frozen form. It was going to be very boring. But actually, it was going to be kind of exciting. But at the same time, it was this idea of why don't we focus on the idea of pirates in the Caribbean? And we're going to have it so they're going off and they're sword fighting or they're drinking rum or they're, that's all they do. But they could be going through and showing the lifestyle of what a pirate's life is actually like. A pirate's life is a wonderful life. That's from Peter Pan. But they were going to focus on this thing. And then in 1963, something miraculous happened in the form of in the tiki room. And ironically enough, we're going to be talking about birds more so later on when we get to the Beak and Barrel. But they came up with the idea of these audio animatronic figures. Now, when they had the audio animatronic figures, of course, originally they had it so it was just for all these different birds, along with some different plants that would be inside of Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room. Now, the idea of an animatronic was an amazing idea. And in 1964, the Imagineers were able to propel that idea from a bird to human figures in a few different ways. Number one, a little attraction called Carousel of Progress. In addition to Carousel of Progress, Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln. When they started to go through and create Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln, along with Carousel of Progress for the 1964 World's Fair, they started to realize, you know what? We might actually be able to rethink that idea of that pirate wax museum and actually have it so these pirates can come to life and people can go through and they can actually experience what the action of a pirate's life would actually be like. It was a great idea. I thought it was a great idea, at least, and most of the people there thought it was a great idea. There was just one small problem. How on earth would you be pushing these people through this attraction? And I know you're thinking, well, obviously a boat. Well, at that point, the idea of these slow-moving boat rides was not really a thing. Enter, once again, the 1964 World's Fair. Because in the 64 World's Fair, the Imagineers came up with another concept on how to push people through an attraction and have it so it was a controlled way to load and unload. And the form was It's a Small World. It's a small world after all. Now, when they created It's a Small World, they also came up with the idea of having it so these boats would be being propelled by little water flumes along the way to have it so it was a slow moving boat ride, but every boat would be slowly separated from the boat in front of them. So they decided to combine their ideas of It's a Small World, Carousel of Progress, and Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln and put it into the Caribbean. And when they go, and by the way, do you say Caribbean or do you say Caribbean? Because when I say Pirates of the Caribbean, I say Caribbean. When I say Caribbean Beach Resort, I say Caribbean. So let me know too in the comments. Do you say Caribbean or Caribbean? I know it's going to be kind of difficult because you're just typing, and no matter what, I'm going to read it and be like, oh, it looks like so-and-so says Caribbean, and this person says Caribbean. So they started to go through, and they combined all these things to put it into the Caribbean, whatever you want to say, and create a classic attraction known as Pirates of the Caribbean. Now, while they were going through and creating this attraction, so Alex says Caribbean, or is it Caribbean? This is going to be the rest of the show. It's just me reading the word Caribbean and Caribbean over and over and over again and just deciphering what people are saying. So they decided to put all this stuff together and create it. Now, Walt Disney unfortunately did pass away before it would open up on March 18th of 1967. But when it would go through and open up, it became a worldwide phenomenon. In fact, a lot of people were so excited to do it because the last thing that they saw Walt Disney talk about before he passed away was Pirates of the Caribbean. Now, if you ever go and watch the old episode of, I think it's the 10-year anniversary of Disneyland episode on The Wonderful World of Disney, it is amazing. They go through and they kind of break down everything about Haunted Mansion and Pirates of the Caribbean, and it's fascinating. It's no joke. I want to say it's on Disney Plus. If it's not, it's on DVD. That's how I have it. I know and that's how I always watched it. But it's one of the most fascinating things you'll ever see. They actually have it so like they go down to like different levels, and you're like, oh yeah, like if you look here, this is where the boat would be going through, and this is what you're going to see, and it's just an absolutely fascinating thing. And it was one of the last things that Walt Disney ever talked about. So when Pirates of the Caribbean would open up, most guests just flocked over there and they had their minds completely blown wide open. It became a huge phenomenon and it became a staple of Disney park attractions. Or did it? Let's flash forward a few years to the year 1971, because now we're going to be talking about the Pirates of the Caribbean that we all know and love here at the Magic Kingdom, the one that I get to experience at least once a week, if not twice a week sometimes. But let's talk a little bit about Magic Kingdom's Pirates of the Caribbean, because Magic Kingdom's Pirates of the Caribbean was not originally going to be Magic Kingdom's Pirates of the Caribbean. In fact, it was not going to be the Pirates of the Caribbean at all. So when Disney was going through it and creating Pirates of the Caribbean and New Orleans Square and Haunted Mansion and all of that other fun stuff for Disneyland, one of the big things they said is, if we have it so there's this entire land that's dedicated to New Orleans, people on the West Coast are going to go crazy for it, because most likely people in California are never in their entire life going to make their way to New Orleans. Now, at this point, we had started to have air travel became more and more common, but at the same time, it wasn't common enough that a lot of people were really making their way across the country to go experience different things. In fact, most people, if they wanted to go across the country, they were hopping in their car and they were going on a 2-week vacation, much like the Griswold family. And we all know how that worked out with Wally World at the end. But and in this situation, they just figured most people are not going to be going from California to New Orleans. So why don't we have it so we focus a little bit more on New Orleans inside that park and diminish Frontierland? So when they were creating Walt Disney World and creating the idea of the Magic Kingdom, they said, you know what? Just like how most people in California will never go to New Orleans, most people who are in Florida will probably never go off to the Wild West. So when they were coming up with the idea of the Magic Kingdom here at Walt Disney World, they decided to have it so the entire focus of Magic Kingdom, not the entire focus, but a big portion of the focus of the Magic Kingdom was going to be Frontierland. Now, Frontierland had this amazing idea of what could be done. They're going to have this thing called the Western River Expedition. And it was 3 different attractions all rolled into one. You could go on one attraction, was going to be kind of like a, wildest ride in the wilderness type of roller coaster. There was another one that was going to be a slow moving boat ride, kind of like Pirates of the Caribbean. And there was going to be another attraction that took you through just a simple little ride vehicle. Now, in order to get the entire storyline, you had to go on all 3 attractions. However, if you went on one attraction, you would still get your own storyline, but you just wouldn't be able to connect all the dots on how all 3 attractions were created or connected. Now, when they went through and they had this idea for this giant, massive idea, they said, much like how most people in Disneyland will never go out east, most likely people who are going to Florida will never go out west. So we'll focus on Frontierland and let's get rid of some of the things that maybe are going to be on the East Coast. Things like, well, pirates. If anyone wants to go to the Caribbean, they can literally drive their car 2 hours away and they can go to the Caribbean and they can experience what it was like to be a pirate. And that was Disney's final idea. That was the Imagineers' final thought. They said there is no way that people who are going to Florida are going to have any interest at all about Pirates of the Caribbean. There's just no way. If you live or if you can visit Florida, you can visit the Caribbean very easily. It's close enough that there's not going to be enough interest there. So October 1st, 1971, the Magic Kingdom opens up. And in Adventureland, we had amazing attractions. We had the Swiss Family Treehouse, the Jungle Cruise. We had Tropical Serenade, now known as Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room, and we had nothing else. There was no Pirates of the Caribbean. In fact, if you would go out to the Enchanted Tiki Room, that's where Adventureland ended. There was nothing else at all. So you just came to the end of Adventureland, and that's it, folks. Let's move about our day and head over to Frontierland, where everything's a little bit bigger and a little bit more exciting. Now, a few people started to get a little disappointed. Actually, not just a few people, a lot of people started to get disappointed. And they started to go to guest relations and they said, okay, um, we might be missing it, but where is Pirates of the Caribbean? Because we couldn't find it. And these poor guest relations people were given the instructions that if someone would come up and ask about Pirates of the Caribbean, they were supposed to point out, if you want to see anything in the Caribbean, you can drive 2 hours away. There's no reason for you to go through and experience something that you can drive 2 hours away for. That wasn't a good enough answer. So many people complained. So many people wrote to Disney themselves, mainly due to the fact that the last thing that most people saw Walt Disney talk about was this attraction called Pirates of the Caribbean. So the Imagineers started to realize we may have made a mistake and we might need to do a quick fix. Now, the only way they could do this quick fix is by going through and trying to figure out what they can take money out of from their budget. There was not a lot of budget into Walt Disney World at that point. They were still growing, but they weren't growing at a rapid rate. It's not like now where it's like a lot of the attractions are being updated or upgraded. And at that point, maybe we'd get an attraction every year. Maybe every 2 years we'd get an attraction, but we weren't really exactly sure on how often we would be getting these brand new attractions. So when they were trying to figure out what they were going to do with Pirates of the Caribbean, they said, we have to go into the budget. We have to scrap one project. What project can we scrap that's going to give us enough money to go and create Pirates of the Caribbean here in the Magic Kingdom? And they said, let's get rid of that Western River Expedition ride. And they got rid of it. They just cut it off, and we never saw the likes of it, with the exception of some concept art made its way into Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. But unfortunately, the entire attraction experience just was cut out, and we never saw it again, which I'm still kind of sad about. Not kind of, I'm really sad about. I would love to experience that. But if it was not for that, we probably would never had Pirates of the Caribbean. Now, let's talk a little bit about Pirates of the Caribbean, because we've got some myths and legends and some other things that are true, but partially true and not completely true. Okay, number one, let's talk about Pirates of the Caribbean and the drop. Now, if you've ever gone to Disneyland's Pirates of the Caribbean, then you know very well that there are two drops. Now, a few people would say, well, there's only one drop at the Magic Kingdom because you're on Swampland and you couldn't go any further down. That's true. But then people will also say you already go deep into the ground, which is not true. Now you have to remember that the Magic Kingdom is built on the second story. So when you're actually going down that drop, you're just going to the same level of the first story. So when you're actually on that second floor where you have it, so the Wicked Wench, which is the name of the pirate ship that Barbossa is on the left-hand side, and the fort are shooting at each other, you are actually on the same level as the cast members that are walking underneath Main Street USA and Fantasyland and Frontierland, etc., etc., etc. So they decided to go through and build this attraction, but because they wanted to get it out, because there were a lot of complaints, they decided that they're going to build it a little bit shorter than the original attraction. And when I say a little bit shorter, I mean about 4 minutes shorter. So instead of having a lot of build up with the dead men tell no tales, instead of having it so we had that huge build up, if you've ever been to Disneyland, you know, first off, you're in the blue or in the bayou, and then you go down one drop, and you go down another drop, then you got it so the dead men tell no tales, and there's skeletons everywhere, and there's treasure rooms, and there's beds, and there's people playing chess, and there's one guy who's drinking wine that's going right through the skeleton because they're all dead. But when they were going through and trying to figure out exactly what to do, they said, you know what, we can cut that whole scene because we want to expedite this attraction. We need to build it right now so these people will stop being upset. So they cut that part. They cut a few things at the end of the attraction as well, and they kept the center area pretty much the exact same as it is over in Disneyland. Now, with this creation of a shorter attraction, they put it all together and they opened it up in December of 1973. So in 1973, just a little over 2 years after the Magic Kingdom first opened up, we got the brand new Pirates of the Caribbean Plus Pirates Plaza or Caribbean Plaza here at the Magic Kingdom as well. So we're going to do real quick is we're going to do a quick little run through of the attraction. And after we go through that quick little run through of the attraction, we will go into the beak and barrel part of the attraction. But before we start going into the actual attraction for Pirates of the Caribbean, I would like to point out that at the front of Pirates of the Caribbean for years and years and years and years and years, we used to have I just hit one of my pins on the ground. We used to have it so there was a pirate that was up front named Peg Leg Pete, and he would sit there and he would call people into the show. Pirates of the Caribbean. That parrot's going to come into play later on. Eventually, when they get rid of him, and they would put him in the pirate room of World of Disney. If you've ever gone to the section that's facing out towards Ghirardelli and Earl of Sandwich, like that door where Stitch now sits, to be a pirate room, and when you walk into the pirate room, that same parrot, the exact same parrot that used to be found on Pirates of the Caribbean in front of the attraction, he was then in that room, and then he just kind of disappeared for a long time, and he may or may not have resurfaced. We'll talk about Beak and Barrel a little bit, but right now we're not talking about Beak and Barrel. We're going to go through a quick little ride through of Pirates of the Caribbean. So when you first get in there, you are going into the Castello del Moro, which is going to be our fort here. Now, unlike Disneyland, the queue line that is found here in Walt Disney World is so much better than the one that's found over at Disneyland. The one at Disneyland's okay, but at the same time, they got a better attraction than we do, but we have a better queue line than they do. There are going to be two different paths that you could potentially take on your queue ride or your queue walk for Pirates of the Caribbean. One of them is the Armory, and the other one is going to be where we keep the prisoners. So right now, if you go into the Lightning Lane side, that's going to be where we have the prisoners, and there are only 2 prisoners that are found there. However, if you look down into their cage, it's 2 skeletons there, and they are playing chess, and the chess that they are playing is at a stalemate, which means that no one will ever win, and they both died trying to win this game of chess. Now, Mark Davis, who is the head Imagineer for Pirates of the Caribbean, was a massive fan of chess, and he used to hide chess things into almost all of the designs of the attractions that he worked on. And one of the things that he created was this idea of this stalemate, and so when you see it, that is actually a nod to Mark Davis, because back in Disneyland, he also had 2 pirates playing and had a stalemate. If you go through the Armory side, while you go through, guess what? You'll see swords, you'll see guns, you'll see a hidden Mickey, which is really cool above the fireplace. But overall, it's just a lot of different prop work to make you feel like you're actually walking through this fortress. Now you'll get onto your pirate ship, and off on the right-hand side, you'll see a pirate ship way off in the distance. This is going to be very important, so hold tight. After you get onto your pirate ship, you are going to start going through the cave, and in the cave we hear, "Dead men tell no tales." Tales. Now, this is very important that we do talk about the Dead Men Tell No Tales, because it's not just a really cool, creepy way for us to go through, but it's the fact that when you were going through this area, on the left-hand side, we see a beach with several different skeleton pirates, and they are dead men. And of course, they cannot tell tales because they're dead, right? Well, first off, let's go through and answer the question here that Eric says, can you talk about George? Yes, let's talk about George real quick, and then we'll continue and talk about the drop. So George was a Imagineer that was working on the attraction when it was first, obviously not before it was open to the guests, but he was a person who was working construction / with the Imaginary team, and he had a beam fall on him while he was doing the construction, and unfortunately he did pass away on this attraction. So the cast members do truly believe that George still haunts this attraction to this day. I never believed in ghosts until I had a weird experience with George as well, but let's talk a little bit about it. So every single morning when the cast members are opening up the attraction, the very first thing on their checklist is they're supposed to go over the speaker that goes through the entire attraction and say, "Good morning, George." Then they go through the rest of the checks of the day. And then at the end of the night, before they close up, they have to say over the speaker, "Good night, George." It's the first thing and the last thing that they do. The cast members do say that if they forget to say good morning in the morning, the attraction does break down a lot more on those days. One of my friends was telling me about George. Apparently, her uncle actually was building the attraction with George. He was there the day that George passed away. And she was telling me this when we were on our college program. And I said, there is no way this is true. Ghosts aren't real. And she said, I bet if we started yelling George, weird things would happen. I said, let's do it. And sure enough, we started yelling George, and it was at a part where there is no water that splashed into the boat, and we got soaking wet. It's the only time where I was like, maybe George is actually a real a real ghost that lives in Pirates of the Caribbean. Okay, so we hear the famous dead men tell no tales. On the right hand side, we got that pirate skeleton. That's the lightning. And then we go down the drop. Now, when we go down the drop, most people are thinking, hey, this is a great way for us to go under the Walt Disney World Railroad, which it is. However, it's also a great way for us to transport back in time. So when you're actually going down that drop, you are actually not just going underneath the Walt Disney World Railroad, but we are now going from the current year of 2025, going back in time as we go down. And when we get to the end, we are at a spot where maybe those dead men that we saw earlier can now tell tales, because now we see the pirates very much alive. So like I said earlier, the very first pirates that we see is the pirate ship on our left-hand side, which is the Wicked Wench. On it, we've got Captain Barbossa, Captain Hector Barbossa. If you've ever seen Pirates of the Caribbean films, then you know who Barbossa is. If you don't, he's the guy who took, or maybe if you have, but just a really quick reminder, Captain Jack Sparrow was he was the captain of the Black Pearl, and then he was, marooned to an island by his first mate, which was Barbossa, and then Barbossa became the captain of the Black Pearl, and then the two of them have a very complicated relationship throughout most of the Pirates of the Caribbean films. But we see him up there, and he starts yelling, "You bloomin' cockroaches! Bring us Captain Jack Sparrow! Barbossa, we're going to sink your ship!" Okay. Now, another thing that's actually very important for us to point out at this point that most people don't really pay too much attention to is when we were walking through that queue, and like I said, right when you're about to board, the very first thing you see when you get on that boat is, if you took a look to the right-hand side, you see a small little itsy-bitsy little tiny pirate ship. Now, when you see that small itsy-bitsy tiny little pirate ship on the right-hand side, you are currently standing on the fort that those pirates are attacking the ship on. And when you're going between the two, you are now going between that pirate ship that you see way off in the distance and the fort that you are currently boarding the attraction on. So you have gone full circle. You've gone so far out, and now you're back around to be not just back in time, but also back to where you pretty much started the attraction when you boarded the attraction at the start. After you go past that battle, I need water real quick. After you go past that battle, on the right-hand side, we got our Dunking the Mayor scene. The mayor, his name is Carlos. And the only reason that we know it's Carlos is because his wife, or just maybe some random lady, I'm not really sure, is up in a window, and she's yelling, "Don't tell them, Carlos. Don't be chicken. I am not chicken. I will not talk. I will not talk." So, well, this scene used to be just about other things, about where's the treasure. Now they're asking about where Captain Jack Sparrow is. This is a great way for us to talk about what happened back in 2006. So up until 2003, Pirates of the Caribbean was just a beloved attraction to many people who had gone to Disneyland or Walt Disney World or Disneyland Paris at this point as well. People would go to Pirates of the Caribbean, they fell in love with it, and that was about it. Now, in 2003, there was a brand new film that came out called Pirates of the Caribbean: The Curse of the Black Pearl. It was the very first of 5 different Pirates of the Caribbean films, with more on the way. And when we got this brand new attraction, we got a lovely character whose name is Captain Jack Sparrow. Captain Jack Sparrow is hands down one of the greatest Disney characters of all time. And I'm not just saying that lightly. I really do think Captain Jack Sparrow is one of the best characters of all time. I genuinely just love him as a character. He's got a great personality. He just gets into so many hijinks. And he's just marvelously played by Johnny Depp. Just amazing, like absolutely amazing character. So when the film was insanely popular, which was also kind of weird because prior to that, we also had the Country Bear movie, which was not good. And then we also had the Haunted Mansion movie with Eddie Murphy. It was kind of getting to the point of, is it really worth trying to make a Pirates of the Caribbean film as well? And the answer was yes, big time yes. And it's because of the popularity of the Pirates of the Caribbean films, what they decided to do was they decided to take different parts of the film and place it into the already existing attraction, with one of the things being Captain Jack Sparrow added and Captain Barbossa added as well. So they're going through and they're trying to figure out exactly where Captain Jack Sparrow is. He's just a little to the left off screen, and he's sitting there kind of hiding between two dresses. In addition to this, there is only one pirate on the entire attraction that's got a peg leg. He is just a little bit before Captain Jack Sparrow. He is one of the three that is against the wall. He's the one that's right in the middle. And the pirate that is running the entire thing with the Duncan the Mayor is the only pirate on the entire attraction that has a hook for a hand. So that's, just fun. Next time, we're going to get to the auction scene. Now, the auction scene is one of those things that a lot of people have still a little bit of disgruntledness towards, mainly due to the fact that they used to have the famous, "We wants the redhead. We wants the redhead." And then you'd be like, 6 bottles of rum. It was my favorite line of the entire attraction. There was the one drunk pirate that was above you. And he's like, 6. Do I hear 6? 6 it be. 6 bottles of rum. I'm not splunging for rum. It be gold I'm after. But now they are auctioning off the flock that the lady has up there with things. And now Red, the redhead, is now part of the pirate crew as well. I actually do really enjoy her as one of the additions for the pirate crew here. In addition to that, if you take a look at the auctioneer here, the auctioneer at the point of the attraction being built was the most advanced animatronic of all time. In fact, if the auctioneer is not working still to this day, if he's not working, the entire attraction shuts down because he is considered the most amazingly perfect animatronic that's in this attraction, with the exception of Captain Jack Sparrow at the very end of the attraction. But besides Captain Jack Sparrow, this is like the key. I don't know why I have to put it that way, but he's like the main animatronic for this attraction. After we go past them, then we got our next sighting of Captain Jack Sparrow. He's popping his head out of the barrel. And then there's the guy who used to just be a drunk with a treasure map. Now he's a drunk with a treasure map, and also talking about, if Captain Jack Sparrow knew what his treasure was, but he won't find it without this key and my map. Ha, ha, ha. Captain Jack Sparrow's looking right over from the top. Also, side note, just a random trivia question. There's 10 chickens in the scene. I don't know why, but I counted last time I was there, or last week. I was on it yesterday too. Then we get into our next scene. Our next scene is going to be the famous finale, not finale scene, but it's going to be our famous scene with the famous song, "Yo ho, a pirate's life for me." Now, "Yo ho, a pirate's life for me" was written by Exitentio, the Imagineer. Exitentio had an amazing life that started off with the animation building and making his way all the way up to becoming an Imagineer. He wrote things like Grim Grinning Ghost for the Haunted Mansion. He also wrote Yo ho, a pirate's life for me. I was able to hear him talk back in 2009, and during it, he spoke about how he came up with this idea of Yo ho, a pirate's life for me. He said he turned off all the lights in his apartment and dressed himself up as a pirate and just started talking about things that he thought a pirate would talk about. And with it, he wrote down everything, and that's how we got Yo ho, a pirate's life for me. So we get 3 singers over on the left-hand side, and then we got a bunch of pirates that are around with a burning village all around. My favorite character in this room is the guy who's got all the hats on his head and is trying to get onto the boat, but you never know if he's going to get there or not. He's just waddling back and forth forever and ever and ever. After that, we go into the jail scene. In the jail scene, we've got it so there are a few prisoners in the first cell, a few more prisoners in the second cell, and then a dog who's got the key. The 6 prisoners are all trying to whistle at the dog and try to get it so he will come over with the key. This is also one of my favorite parts because it's the only time in the attraction, besides when you're hearing the skeleton talk at the very start of the attraction, where they are breaking the wall, where it's like, "Don't look at those lousy landlubbers, will you? Focus on us." So it's just one of those great things because they are actually referencing us as the landlubbers. On our left-hand side, we used to have it so there was different things like the finale scene of Pirates of the Caribbean over in Disneyland, where you had it so there was the fire going on, people shooting off the cannon. That was all completely replaced to be put in with the Captain Jack Sparrow in the treasure room. Now, one of the things that they did add with this treasure room is if you take a look above the treasure room, there's a coat of arms with a Latin phrase below, and this Latin phrase is Marquis Daviso, aka a little nod to Mark Davis, the Imagineer, who was, in charge of pretty much all of our childhoods. And then after that, we get off the attraction. And if you're a little thirsty, then we're going to go over to the Beak and Barrel. Okay, so for the Beak and Barrel, we do have several pictures that we're going to be showing you as we go through here, along with some audio. I want to say I'm not positive, but I think I what I did was I just sent myself a bunch of things, then I downloaded them, and I think I've got at least one with audio, and it might be two. I don't know. I just found my magical memory certificate from when I rode Pirates 48 times on a 4-day trip. So that is a true story. Eric was down here. That was in 2011, I want to say. It was the first time Eric and I ever met each other in person. Eric has been watching this show since 2010. Today's Eric's birthday, by the way. For those of you guys who missed it earlier, wish Eric a happy birthday in the chat room. Pirates of the Caribbean is his favorite attraction. That's actually why we're doing this entire episode tonight. Also, I wanted to talk about Beak and Barrel, so it's a win-win for all of us. But yeah, that was the first time Eric and I ever met, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I just keep on going on Pirates of the Caribbean." And Eric's a tall. Eric, how tall are you? Because Eric's one of those guys that's like, it's tough to not notice Eric, especially if you see him 48 times on the same attraction over and over and over again. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Beak and Barrel. So Beak and Barrel was announced last year at the D23, 6'4". There you go. But yeah, Eric, I just want to point out that Frank Fam just deleted their message because I think they misspelled Eric. Is that what happened, Frank Fam? I think they put Eric with a C. I just glanced real quick, and right when I looked over there, all of a sudden it said message retracted. Yep, I think that's exactly what just happened because now they have it with a K. Okay, so Beak and Barrel was announced last year. Here, let's get these pictures. Let's see if this works. Yeah. Okay. So Beak and Barrel was announced just last year as a brand new thing that's going to be coming over to the Magic Kingdom. I finally had the opportunity to go last week, and I also had the opportunity to go today as well. And the Beak and Barrel is a continuation of the story of Pirates of the Caribbean, both the attraction and different things like that. So let's talk a little bit about. Wait, I'm going to drink real quick. Let's talk a little bit about the details. What was there before? So before this, it was actually a Pirates League. If you remember, Pirates League was the place where kids could go, and adults. I don't know. I never did it, but I did have the opportunity to go in there a few times. But they allowed it so kids could go in there and they could be transformed to look like pirates, which is a very, very, very cool concept. So they could go in there, they could become pirates, and they could live out their pirate fantasies for a single day. Here we go. So this is going to be inside the shop. So there are going to be 3 different sections of this brand new restaurant. So in addition of getting rid of the Pirates League, we also lost a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit of the Pirates of the Caribbean gift shop as well to make way for this brand new area. So we got 3 different rooms. We've got the map room, which is going to be the room that's right here. Let's see if we can zoom in here. So if you look at this map up here in the top here, this right here, that is going to be, if you remember in Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End, when they have the map that up is down and down is up. This is the map. It's a reproduction of the map, but it's the map from that scene of the film. In addition to that, this is the room that I was in today. I was kind of taking a look at the thing and trying to figure out a few different little details that are there. I do like the little bird that's right here on a little pirate ship, or it looks kind of like a pirate ship. It's a crow's nest. You can find the little cannon that is right here as well. There's just a lot of really cool little details. It's a very, very detailed restaurant. We also have that compass there in the middle. So when you're going through there, we have several different things that are trying to help propel the story forward of you actually being there and being part of the pirate's life now. Now, when we went last Thursday, the map room, which is where I was today, every time we looked inside of it, there was this black light in there, which is really cool. And it made it so all these different things came to life. So we got that X marks the spot at the top there. We have eternal life. Don't lose your way. Beware, beware. And just in case you didn't read the first two bewares, beware. We also have the cursed seeds, treacherous, endless waterfall, and punished. Now, the cool thing is that I didn't realize until today is that is not always up there. That's actually only up there for three different things, at least three different things. It could be 4 or 5, but at least three of the things that they have going on in the bar have it so the black light comes to life and you can start to see these different things pop up on the walls. Now, I think part of it was really cool being able to see it all on Thursday when we were there and see it constantly. But at the same time, when I went today, I was like, oh, it's only there sometimes, which kind of makes it a little bit more special in my mind. It made it a little bit more unique. So when I say that there's different things going on in the bar, when you're inside the bar, there is a show pretty much every 4 to 5 minutes. Now, if you remember earlier, here, let's shrink this down just for a second. If you remember earlier, we were talking about the Barker bird, Peg Leg Pete, that used to be found at the entrance of Pirates of the Caribbean. Then he made his way over to World of Disney. He is still around to this day, and now he is found inside of Beak and Barrel. He is actually going to be Rummy. It's his new name. Like, he's got a new name throughout the years. But Rummy actually has it so he has now experienced a little bit more of life. He is now the second in command of a pirate crew. And with that, he is now part of this restaurant. So Rummy comes out every few minutes. And when he comes out, sometimes he just does a spiel, which one of those is audio that we have for later on. And then sometimes it's other things going on. So for instance, when I took this picture, I want to say it was the mermaids or it was the sea. Okay, so there's 3 of them that I noticed today. So there is the mermaids, the spotlights or the black lights come on. There is another one where we go through and it is the mermaid. So there's mermaids. There's a treacherous crew going on and like there's wind everywhere and the things light up in the room at that point too. And then there's another one where they talk about the maps and how the maps are coming to life. And that's when this is really, really prominent inside of that room there. This is going to be another part of that map room. I don't know if we can zoom in and see it, but hopefully we can. So there are going to be a few different references on this map that, I just think are worth pointing out. If you look right here, it's really tough to see on this map. I think I have a video of it later on, but just in case I don't. This right here says Lookout, and this right up here says Castaway. Those are, of course, nods to Castaway Key and the Lookout Point, the 2 islands that Disney has for the Disney Cruise Line. In addition to that, down here we can see this thing. It's really tough to see on this thing. I should have gotten a closer picture today, but hey, you know what? It's okay. This says X marks the spot. However, Marks here is spelled M-A-R-C-S. And I know what you're thinking, but Marks is spelled M-A-R-K-S. Yes, you are correct. However, Mark Davis, the Imagineer who created Pirates of the Caribbean, he spelled his name M-A-R-C, so it's actually a nod to Mark Davis. This is going to be the main bar. I think I've actually got 2 different pictures of this. This one was taken today. So this is going to be the main bar. If it is your first time there, I do recommend waiting for a little bit longer to be able to sit or stand at the bar. It's not a sitting. You can stand at the bar. That is what we did last Thursday, and honestly, it was totally worth it because right here is where Rummy the parrot comes out. And so you're kind of in the middle of all the action. You can see him constantly. If you watch my YouTube video that I released on Friday, I want to say, I'm pretty sure it was Friday last week, then yes, I was just standing right here and just kind of enjoying the entire thing. But I do like how it's shaped like a skull. He's got if you look here, it's a patch on his eye. And then this is his eye and his nose and his teeth are down here. I think the other picture I have is a little bit better. This is going to be to the right side of the main bar there, but we got a lot of really cool little And there's just so many cool details in this place. Walk the Plank Swim School. I just think that's hilarious. Ladies' Night at Tortuga Tavern. Tortuga Tavern's going to be the place that's right across the street. We've got the Pup and Padlock with the dog from Pirates of the Caribbean holding onto the key. We have the Ball and Chain matchmaking service, just absolutely hilarious. The Barbershop, which is going to be a nod to Pirates Lake, which used to be the spot that was found here before this. And then we got things like Porto Donato auction. We got fine art furniture, fineries, livestock, but of course they wrote down, "We wants the rum." I know you want the rum, lads. Overall, amazing details everywhere inside this restaurant. If you remember, we were just talking a few minutes ago about the Up is map. We also have it, so we've got the Dead Man's Chest right here. This is going to be found in the third room. So there are 3 rooms altogether. There is the map room, which is easily the smallest of the rooms. There is the central room, which has the bar, and it's got that giant skull thing. This is going to be in the last one. This is going to be the spot where there's actually more chairs and more tables at. Overall, I have not eaten here yet, but I think it would actually be a pretty cool area to be at. But we have all these different details, like Dead Man's Chest, obviously from the Pirates of the Caribbean film, Dead Man's Chest. There's just so many different little details. There's also all these amazing carvings on the booth here. So this is going to be during that one scene in Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End when all of the pirate captains around the world get together and they have it. So one of the keys was the guy's eye. In addition to that, we also have this carving right here of Captain Jack Sparrow along with Barbossa as a skeleton fighting to the better end in Pirates of the Caribbean Curse of the Black Pearl. So the carvings that are found around the table, there's different little nods to every single one of the Pirates of the Caribbean films, which is really, really well done. I need to have more time inside of this restaurant to really appreciate all the details. There's another picture of the Dead Man's Chest. This is going to be the Pirate Oath. So, ye pirate oath, ye pledge to be a true and honest pirate, to be trusted, not to be trusted, to run from any fight ye cannot win, to win and fight ye cannot run from, to plunder treasure with a hearty laugh, to smile, or to not smile, to swab the deck with a hearty hand, to seek freedom with a hearty heart, discourage the supping and frivolous use of parley in situations of conflict. Above all, sing yo-ho in a hearty voice. You are an official pirate. Welcome aboard, Scallywag, Captain Jack Sparrow. Here's another picture of that black light there of the pirate's room. This one was taken on Thursday. Here's the other one that's taken on Thursday. So as you can see, this is going to be our main bar area here. It looks like a skull. And here you can see that it looks like the teeth of the skeleton as well. And again, we got that eye patch there, his eye, his nose. Really, really cool details. Just amazing details. This is going to be our sign out front. I want to say the next one's going to be our audio, so listen up. Oh, nope, it's not. So this is also something that changed from Thursday to today. So this is the outside of the menu, but today they just had paper menus. Inside of this leather-bound menu, they had paper menus the other day, but now this was just gone today. I do like also, here actually, you know what's going to be better on this last one. If you look here, it is a parrot in the B, and it is a cutlass in the K, which is pretty cool. Here is going to be our intro to the entire storyline here. It says, "Ahoy, mateys, welcome to the Beak and Barrel. I'm surely out on some adventure, but my first mate, Rummy, should have the tavern well under wing while I'm away. 4 wins the lot of ya, and to try not to cause too much trouble, drink up, me hearties. Yo-ho! Captain Meridian, Goldwyn, and Rummy." We have this amazing detail of a pirate's leg hanging from the hammock, which I just really, really like. And then here we go. Here's with the audio. There we you go. There's that art marks. X marks the spot there. So you can see here it says mark with the C there. Okay, let's go to our next one. Yo ho, a pirate's life for me. Yo ho, a pirate's life for me. Okay, and videos and pictures that I have on here on my computer right now. Let's go through. We're going to answer some of your questions here because I'm pretty sure that we got a lot. Love how many items are hidden on the shelves. The shelves are amazing. Operation Get Eric and Beak and Barrel needs to happen in November. Eric, I'm sure we can get you into Beak and Barrel. We're going to get you in. I want to look at the carvings on the booths more. Me too. Do you know what kind of food they serve? Yeah. So on Thursday, I went with Alex. Say hi, Alex, and Ashley. And they got both of the food items. I tried the one here. Let me pull up the menu here. Yo ho, a pirate's life for me. A parrot's life for me. Okay, let's see here. View the menu. Okay, so they have Island Provisions. That's the one that I tried. It's got plantain chips, blue corn tortillas, and toasted flatbread served with mango chutney, garlic, chimichanga, spiced guava, and zesty cilantro cream dips. Is that the one we had? Maybe. Is that the one with chicken where we got to choose what kind of we wanted, what we had chicken? So Rummy, you can see his entire body. He's a full body, but he's like yay big. Probably he's probably the size of my head. Really Rummy. I love Rummy. I absolutely love Rummy. The corn cakes were good. Was the corn cakes? Is that what I had? I can't remember. I've not had the Kraken's Catch because it sounds disgusting to me. So today I had the Treasure Trove, which is a non-alcoholic drink. I am not a drinker, so if it comes to like the alcohol stuff, I'm not the person to ask. However, on Thursday, I did try the Salty Seas Margarita, which is okay. It was, I don't know. Today I got the Treasure Trove. The Treasure Trove is from the non-alcoholic section. There's two different items from the non-alcoholic section. There is the Cursed Treasure for $7.75, an indulgent blend of coconut milk and cookie crumbs topped with vanilla foam and Pirate's Gold. I'm tempted to try it. And I had the Treasure Trove, which is a mysterious oob, lemon, and coconut concoction served with a vanilla cake plank, which was a cake pop, a chocolate cannonball, which is delicious, and golden caramel popcorn, which I wish there was more of, but it's delicious. Coasters would be amazing. They don't have any coasters. They need coasters. They really need coasters. I didn't even think about the fact they don't have coasters. What was cool was, so today I was looking at the table. So the way that the restaurant is set up, so there's the map room is literally just a giant room with a table in the middle, and it's a standing table. So everywhere you go, it was just about. There was as few as 2 of us at one point, and there was as many as 15 probably of us at one point. It's a big table, but even the table has so many intricate details on there that like at one point I was like, these people need to move so I can take pictures of the table. But people were not moving as much as they should have. But yeah, that's that room. And then the central area, there's the bar along the one wall. There's a giant table, a long table in the middle, right behind the bar, or right behind where you stand for the bar. And then there are a few smaller tables kind of scattered around. And then in the last room, there are 4, maybe 5. I think it's 4 massive booths. And in addition to those massive booths, there is also a bunch of small little tables as well. So overall, a lot of seating, but we were talking about coasters. The details on the tables are just as amazing though. So I think the coaster would be cool, but at the same time, looking at the details on the tables was really cool too. How long would each part when Rummy shows up? So each one, there was one. The one that cracked me up was it lasted maybe 2 seconds. He literally went. He went out and goes, "Ah!" He turned around and he left. Um, so there's some that are really short. There's some that are really long. So the one with the Curse of the Mermaids, and there's another one with the storm that's going on inside the restaurant. Both of those probably last about 45 seconds to a minute long, and they're very detailed. There's lots of different details. Not so Rummy is like it's like Rummy's the host of the bar for you, where he's kind of instructing you on what's going on around you, but there's so much more than just Rummy. Like Rummy is really cool. There, I saw some people posting about how Rummy's broken every day. I've been there twice now. Rummy's worked fine both days, no issues. But Rummy's just kind of the star of the show, and he kind of directs you on where you should be looking or what exactly is going on. So when we have the yo ho, a pirate's life, for me, that is just one of the many things. Here, let me try to find. Let's see if we can get this real quickly onto my computer so we can upload it and make it a little bit more exciting for you guys. This is the one we want. Okay. And we're going to send it to myself. Look, no, send it. What are you doing? Yeah. Send it to Brent Dodge. There we go. Okay, now we're just going to open it up here real quick, and that way you guys can all see it too. But yeah, there's just some of these details are so unbelievable, and Rummy is. Did it send? That's the one from an hour ago. Come on, you can do it. Just give me a few more seconds here, hopefully. This is a longer clip. This is a. There we go. Okay. No, and then we want to download. Oh my gosh. Okay. Download this one for you guys to see it. There we go. Okay, now let's go here. Hopefully this works out well. Downloads. Where's that last download at? There's that last download at. Is this it? This is it. Okay, perfect. Okay, and then let's go back here. Please stay tuned. Okay, here we go. So this is going to be the mermaid one.
Where's that heavenly sound coming from? Oh no! My Blackbeard sizzling whispers! Crew! Sound the alarm! Mermaids! We got mermaids! All hands, shield your ears, lest this blasting siren song turn us all into spellbound! Shut your ears!
Yo ho! I mean, just it's so cool. It's all the different details in there. It's really, really cool. Last question. Unlike the Tiki Bar at Disneyland, does the drink connects to the segment or not? No. So if you've ever been to Trader Sam's, or either at Disneyland or over at Polynesian here at Walt Disney World, then you know, like if someone orders the Nautilus, then what happens is it has it so the entire restaurant kind of feel like you're going underwater, which is really cool. But the thing I don't like about that is I remember there was one time we were there and we're like, we want to see all of the different drinks happen while we're in there. And there was like two that no one was ordering. We're like, why isn't anyone ordering this? So unlike that, Rummy just comes out and he's just like, okay, here's the next thing, here's the next thing, here's the next thing, which is really, really cool. So instead of having it so there is a connection to whatever the guests are getting, plus you also have to remember this restaurant is probably about 3 to 4 times bigger than Trader Sam's, I would say. Probably, right? Yeah, probably. Because Trader Sam's is just one giant room, and this is 3 different rooms that are all kind of connected together, but at the same time, there's different things that happen in each room with each one of these segments, which is also a very cool little detail. Did you see the pirate ships and the bottles move? No, unfortunately. Where I was sitting today, I was like in the wrong angle. If I was like probably, I was talking to these 2 guys the entire time there. And where they were standing, they had like the opening from where the cannonball blast went through. And I'm sure they could probably see them every time they were moving. But unfortunately, I just was at the wrong angle and I couldn't see it. I want to sit in, well, I don't care where I sit. I just want to go back to this restaurant and take in all the details. But it would be really cool to sit in the other room that I've not sat in yet with all the booths, just to kind of see what happens in that room too. But if you are going to go there for your first time, I highly recommend asking to stay for a little bit longer and wait a little bit longer to get a spot over by the whatchamacallit, by the bar, so you can actually be able to see everything. And the map room was really cool. There's just so many details in that map room that even though I was there for today for like another 45 minutes, I could not get it all in. Like I was just like, there's so much to look at, and I just need to spend more time in this place to really get all the details. I don't care about the food and drinks that much. I just care about trying to get all those details in. All right, let's check out our subs. We are at 8,892. We've gone up at least 1. So thank you to our subscriber. Welcome aboard, because it's a pirate-themed episode. Okay, but I do think we've already given you guys about 10 or 6 extra minutes here. I think we're going to be wrapping this bad boy up here, unless anyone out there has any last questions before we go through here. We'll give you guys a few seconds if anyone out there has any questions. Let's also end our poll here. So 60% of you guys think that Disneyland has the best parts of the Caribbean ride. 20% thinks Shanghai. Magic Kingdom got 10%. Paris got 10%. The Paris one. So I've never done Shanghai, but I have done Paris. And the Paris one is kind of weird because you start by going uphill, and then you go past the jail scene. It's like the first thing that you go by. I'm like, wait, what's going on here? Are they putting us the wrong way today? But it's a cool experience. It's a different experience than what I'm used to, which is the Disneyland and Magic Kingdom one. Did you see the Pirates after party? Well, let's go through here. Let's send some questions. We'll stay on for a few. We'll stay on for at least. All right, let's do it this way. What was that subscriber count at again? 8,892. Let's try to get this up. So also bring back the COVID crazy video, the ones where I just slowly went insane. All right, let's go through. We will give you guys a few extra minutes. It is Eric's birthday. Let's give you guys a few extra minutes here. If you guys have any questions, also let's try to get this number up right here, 8,892. Let's try to get it up to at least 8,000. Let's try to get it up to 9,000. We're just 108 away. So it should be no problem whatsoever. Also, I do want to thank you guys out there. Whoever has been watching the Coast to Coast Crazy Challenge, that thing has taken off. It's still continuing to take off. And I'm knocking on wood now because I'm afraid it's going to now not take off after we did that. So for those of you guys who are new here, it was 3 weeks ago today Was it 3 weeks ago already? Holy cow. 3 weeks ago today, me and my friend Frank went to Magic Kingdom. We did the 15 attractions that are found at Magic Kingdom and at Disneyland. We did all 15 of those attractions. Then we hopped on a plane and flew out to Disneyland to do those same exact 15 attractions. It was a crazy day. It cost a lot. So go watch the video. Help us make our money back a little bit, please. Because yeah, it was absolute chaos. But yeah, we just passed our 3,000th view yesterday, or maybe it was on Monday, but we just had 3,000 views on that crazy challenge video. So thank you to everyone out there who watched that. Oh, I know. I promised you guys so that we were going to do an announcement at the end of the episode. So let's do that announcement before, and then if anyone has any questions, we'll answer your questions. If no one has any questions, then we'll wrap up there. So we just spent a lot of time talking about Beak and Barrel. And I like talking about this stuff, but I also like showing it. So next week on the Wednesday show, we're going to be coming to you live from the Beak and Barrel to start off our episode. And then it is also going to be the 54th anniversary of the Magic Kingdom. So while we're at the Magic Kingdom, we may as well go and do at least one or two, if we'll see how much time we have, because the park closes at 10 next week and we start at 9:30. But we'll leave Beak and Barrel, and then we'll go and try to do at least one or two different opening day attractions that are found at the Magic Kingdom. We can get at least one in for sure, but we will attempt to get at least two in. So maybe we'll do Pirates of the, or not Pirates of the Caribbean, that's on opening day. We literally just took it for that. Jungle Cruise is what I meant to say. We could probably do Jungle Cruise, and maybe we can head over and do It's a Small World or something like that, depending on our timing. But yeah, next Wednesday for the Wednesday show, live from the Magic Kingdom on the anniversary of Walt Disney World / Magic Kingdom. And we will also be able to go on and do Beak and Barrel. So make sure you guys join us next Wednesday for that in-park live video. But I think we're going to be wrapping this up because it looks like no one out there has any other questions that are popping up there. So thank you everyone else for joining us once again. As always, tonight's episode was sponsored by our Patreon pals. Thank you, our Patreon pals out there. If you want to become a Patreon pal, go visit patreon.com/Brent Dodge. Or is it from Screen Team? I think it's Brent Dodge. And become a Patreon pal today. Make sure you keep on checking out all of our videos that we're posting on here on a daily basis. Give them a like. If you've not liked this video yet, make sure to give this one a like as well. Share it with a friend, all that other fun stuff. As always, remember that anything can happen if you let it. Until next time, have a great week, everybody, and happy birthday, Eric. Bye-bye. Goodbye now. Goodbye. Goodbye now. Goodbye. Goodbye. Are they gone? Are they gone? Oh, good. My cheeks are just killing me.